So one of the first things they tell you not to do when you post a video on YouTube and it gets more than a couple of views is look at the comments. Now, I'm the type of person that when somebody says not to do something, it's generally the first thing I do. And so I've gotten roughly 2,000 comments, I think 1,800 comments on the TED Talk I gave last May. A few of them are just people being jerks, but a few of them are quite interesting. And so I'm going to actually answer a few of them, and specifically the ones that I think can be most helpful, not just to the person I'm answering them to, but to some of the rest of us sort of listening. So the one I'm speaking of was written by a guy named Ingrid, and I'm reading it right now, and Ingrid says, "He was almost there. I was actually thinking I was going to hear it this time, but alas, it ended like every other of those TED Talks that I've heard. The therapist, or whatever he is, was asking this kid what he wanted and finally broke down and told him." Ingrid says, "I need to hear the talk where the answer is, I don't know, doc. I have no friggin' idea what I want, or what I want to do, or how I want to spend my years here on Earth. But I never get to hear that talk because apparently everyone knows what they want, or what they want to do. I know what I don't want to do. I know how I don't want to spend my years here on Earth. But what I do, but what do you do if you don't know what you want? I'm 58 years old now. I've been a meth addict since I was 25. I'm still trying to figure that out what I want, what do I want thing, but I'm running out of time." Ingrid, I've never been in your situation. I super feel for you, man. And I know it's frustrating. Where I have been in your situation is not knowing what I want. I would argue that I'm still kind of there now, and I just turned 40 years old last week. There are a few things that I know that are helpful that I hope can be helpful to you in those situations. Because, see, what I read in here is like that idea that everybody else understands what they want. Well, I can tell you I talked about it, and I don't know what I want fully. We look at that question in terms of like this amazing thing, or this complete perfect idea we're supposed to have in the future. I don't even know what house I want, and I live in a house right now. I kind of know the kitchen I want, yeah, and I kind of know some of the other things, and maybe this is actually where we start. So instead of worrying about, do you know exactly what you want in your future, about where you're going forward, some of the things I think you might know that you already want is how you want to feel. For me, when I struggle with looking forward on that, that's the question I get into. Because I don't have a lot of control sometimes over what I'm going to do in my business, what am I going to do at home, all of those things. But I do know what I want to feel. And the reason I think you know that is you define what you don't want. You know what you don't want to do. You know how you don't want to spend your time on Earth. So that tells me underlying is that you know maybe how you want to feel. Do you want to feel more confident? Do you want to feel happier? Do you want to feel like what you do matters? Maybe if we start there, if you can answer that question, you'll start building the rest of that. Because what it'll help if you start saying, how do I want to feel, is you're going to open, there's a part of your brain called your reticular activating system that's really in charge of identifying what you see. That's a very simple way to explain a real complex issue. But when I tell my brain, here's what I want to feel today, and then I seek out and do it, I start seeing it more. And if I can exercise that part of my brain, then I start to see things a little differently. And if you do that enough, maybe that picture of what you really want will start opening it up. And if it doesn't, I think it might still be worth the activity. Because what if you started getting more of that happiness or confidence, finding those things that may already be in front of you a little more? Hey man, I don't have the answers to all the problems. I'm not the magician over here. All I know is some things that have worked that I've seen, and I hope that helps. I hope you can try it. And man, I hope, I wish you the best on your journey of trying to figure out what you want. Thank you for having the courage to comment. And again, hope this was helpful.